So my sister just absolutely sabotaged my promotion at work. So I have to get some sort of revenge. I mean, it was ridiculous, completely uncalled for, and it's all because she's been jealous that I'm more successful than her. So yeah, I might have gone too far because, well, what did I do? Oh yeah, I messed around with her husband. I never thought I'd be posting something like this, but I need to get this off my chest and just figure out if I'm truly in the wrong. So, a little background. I'm 29, I've always been in a good relationship with my sister. Let's call her Sarah. What we had was more than a regular sibling relationship. See, we're like best friends. We grew up together, shared secrets together, had each other's backs, and were there for each other in times of need. Our bond was enough to make anybody jealous of us, or so I thought. I always knew Sarah used to get envious of me whenever something good happened. I've always been an overachiever at school and most things like extracurricular activities, piano lessons, etc. I thought maybe since she wasn't capable enough, it was her way of processing it. I truly never really understood why, but it's something I've learned to live with and considered it as a normal sibling rivalry, even sometimes enjoying it too. So, we would tease each other about our achievements, but it always felt good-natured. Now that I look at it, I see that Sarah had a knack for subtly undermining my achievements. Looking back, I realize Sarah had a way of making me feel less about my accomplishments. It started with small things like borrowing my clothes and returning them strained or broken. Well, as we got older, it got worse. She'd make comments or change the subject whenever I achieved something, making me feel like it wasn't a big deal. It hurt, but I tried to ignore it, hoping it was just a misunderstanding. I considered these things to just be childish and never let them bother me or harm my relationship with my little sister. But never had I thought that she would go to such a great length just to take out her jealousy on me by sabotaging and almost destroying my whole life. As I've already stated, I've been an overachiever in my studies, and this habit of mine, it deepened even more when it came to my career. I grew more hardworking and ambitious, trying to make a name for myself. I landed a job at a reputable agency as a branding manager and quickly rose through the ranks, impressing my superiors and my dedication and creativity. So, meanwhile, Sarah had a hard time finding a job that she liked. She kept switching jobs and none of them lasted long. She mostly relied on money from Dad and me, which sometimes caused arguments between us. I didn't mind helping her, but I did want her to find something she enjoyed. We talked a lot about what she liked and what she was good at, hoping to find a job that suited her, but it never seemed to work out. Anyways, recently I was up for a big promotion at work and I was considered for promotion to marketing director, thanks to my contributions and hard work. For years, I've been working tirelessly, busting my butt for the promotion, putting in extra hours and doing everything within my power to prove my worth to the company. I was confident that the promotion was within my reach. But, they took a turn for the worse. It all started when Sarah found out about my potential promotion. Everybody in the family was really happy and even congratulated me for it. We stayed up late in the night and celebrated over pizza and drinks. But Sarah went to bed early. Instead of being happy for me, she seemed almost threatened. I should have seen it coming, but I was blinded by my excitement. So then came the office party, where everything went downhill. The party was thrown by my colleagues in honor of my upcoming promotion, and almost every member of my department and even people from the department showed up. The night before the party, Sarah was surprisingly cheerful and even helped me pick out a dress and matching jewelry. I was happy that she had finally come around and seemed genuinely happy for me. Later, she said that she was going over to her friends for a sleepover. Then the day of the party came. I was over the moon, excited to celebrate with my colleagues and share the good news with them. Soon after the party had started, Sarah showed up uninvited, which should have been my first red flag. But I brushed it off, thinking that she just wanted to support me, So little did I know that she had other plans. While I was busy mingling with my coworkers, she was spreading rumors about me behind my back. I couldn't believe it when my coworkers told me everything. See, Sarah had told many of the coworkers that I was planning to switch over to our competitor's company and was just waiting for the promotion so I could just secure better pay. She even went as far as saying that I've been secretly giving our company secrets and future project details to the other companies in exchange for money. Well, the rumors, they spread like wildfire. When I found out, it was already too late. The damage had been done and my chances of getting a promotion had plummeted. Well, obviously, I was devastated. Not only had she betrayed my trust, but she also jeopardized my career. All the lies Sarah had said about me were damaging, to say the least, and it soon cost me my job. The promotion went to somebody else, and I was left feeling humiliated and betrayed. The following weeks were a blur of meetings, investigations, and justifications. I had to defend myself against accusations fueled by jealousy, not facts. So, my boss calls me in for a meeting, questioning my integrity and professionalism based on the lies of my, own sister, what she concocted. Long story short, I was suspended, had to undergo a thorough investigation by company officials. Well, almost after a month of standing in the dock, I was deemed innocent due to lack of evidence. However, all the trust the company had in me was out the window. I was subjected to a disciplinary meeting and was in talks of a demotion. The disciplinary hearing was the most humiliating experience of my life. Sitting across from stern-faced officials, I felt like a criminal on trial. My years of loyalty and dedication counted for nothing in the face of fabricated stories. I had to plead and defend myself again and again, as I tried to salvage what little remained of my shattered reputation. But nothing helped. As the days passed, it became increasingly clear that my future at the company was hanging by a thread. Even though I've tried to prove I did not do anything wrong, people still doubted me despite my years of devoted service. I could tell that demotion was inevitable. While I tried to come to terms with it, I was hit by an even worse storm. My boss called me into his office, where I was asked to submit my resignation because the company could no longer trust me as the allegations came from my own family member. Quit or get fired was their demand. There was only 2 options that they gave me. These words fell over my head like an absolute atomic bomb. I was devastated and wanted to tear everything down, including myself. Despite all my efforts, goodwill, and hard work, I could not make my superiors believe that I was innocent, and everything my sister had said was out of my sheer jealousy. Not even my connections could help me out. Nothing worked. So in the end, with a heavy heart, I submitted my resignation, severing ties with the company that had been my pride and one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. It was almost a gut-wrenching experience, knowing that I was leaving behind not just a job, but a career, into which I poured my heart and soul. So, as I walked out of the office for the last time, I couldn't help but feel a sense of loss weighing heavily on my shoulders. The betrayal of my own sister had cost me more than just a job. It had shattered my trust in the very foundation of our relationship, and I knew such wounds would never fully heal. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Oh man, can you imagine being in OP's position and having to deal with this? Guys, this is not over. We're just getting started, and yes, there is multiple updates. I hope you enjoyed it so far, but just sit back and relax with a nice cup of tea, because, well, I'm about to give you guys a cup of tea anyways. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you might want to, because I drop a video every single day. And it does support the channel a lot. Thank you for considering subscribing. Here is your first update, update number 1. Hey guys, after the incident at the office party, things between Sarah and me got even worse. I couldn't just let her get away with the spreading of those hurtful rumors, so I confronted her, hoping for some form of remorse or explanation. But instead of owning up to her action, she denied everything, making me feel like I was going crazy or overreacting. I mean, it was a classic Sarah move, manipulating the situation to make herself look innocent while I suffered the consequences. But I couldn't let her gaslight me anymore. Devastated and furious for the first time in my life, I slapped my little sister. Yeah, it came on its own. The sound of my hand hitting her face still echoes in my head, and Sarah finally threw off her mask of being a sweet and innocent little girl. Then she at last admitted, claiming I was, quote, getting ahead of myself, and I deserved a reality check. Well, the words hit me like a punch to the gut. I was frustrated and angry at this moment, and she had literally poured her true thoughts about me, us, and her jealousy towards me that she had since childhood. She said that I've always been everybody's favorite, always flaunting how much smarter and successful I am in front of everyone. I've always made her look inferior, as if she was nothing compared to me. Listening to her say all this makes me feel like I've been hit with a rock in my gut. She said that she caused the scene at the office party because I deserved it. Seriously? She said that if I were fired just because of a silly rumor, then I wasn't capable enough anyways. I was absolutely at a loss for words. I didn't know how to respond, and there was nothing that I could do but listen to her spit out all the hatred towards me that she had secretly harbored.
You're not as smart as you think you are. You're a fraud.
So, that was all that it was. Just because you can't amount to anything, Sarah, yourself, you think I'm a fraud. You chose to destroy my life, huh? My life, my career, which I built with my years of hard work. So this is what you've been all my life. Conniving, lying, witch. It hurts to say these things, but I did not care anymore. Standing in front of me was no longer my dear sister, but a stranger, who only knew how to ruin somebody's happiness because they never learned how to be happy on their own.
You're going to regret this.
You took something that I cared about in my life, and now it's your turn. In response, Sarah just scoffed. I couldn't believe how much of a vile person Sarah really was. Unable to bear this any longer, I took a glance at her sly face one more time, and then I just stormed out of my house. She was underestimating me, and, this time I'll show her exactly how, mean I can be. If she wants a war, then a war is what she'll get. Update number 2. You guys were blowing up comments about what happened next, so here's an update. I've moved out of my family house for the time being. I've rented an apartment and I'm staying over here for a bit. My fight with Sarah last time, when I was home, had hurt me deeply. I never knew that she could do this to me, so two-faced. Before confronting her, I was still grieving her, and I was giving the benefit of the doubt. But as soon as she admitted doing it from her own mouth, this one is the actual anger and hurt kicked in. I could not believe that my own sister would do something like that to me. I felt betrayed, I felt humiliated, and I knew I could not let her get away with it. So, in a moment of pure rage and impulsiveness, I did something I never thought I would do. I slept with her boyfriend. That's right, I did it. Sarah's boyfriend is 28, but for the sake of the post, we'll just call him Alex. Alex and Sarah have been together for a total of 7 years. Well, I knew how much she loved him, but at that moment all I could think about was getting back at her for what she has done to me. So, the opportunity presented itself, and the opportunity came about last week. So, knowing that, after our fight, Sarah went out of town for a girls' trip. I reached out to Alex under the pretense of needing something to talk about the situation with my sister. So we met at the bar, but soon went over to his place to talk about it. He was very sympathetic, offering me a shoulder to cry on and a listening ear. As we talked, I could sense the tension building between us. I took advantage of its advancing further, and you see, Alex is very charming and is everything a woman can ever wish for. He takes care of everybody, knows how to take responsibility, and is genuinely caring. If I'm being honest, I've always liked him, but not in that way. And I could tell that he admitted me to it because he had often used to tell Sarah to be more like me and have goals in life, instead of just, going with the flow. To cut the story short, we started a conversation, and it quickly escalated to kissing. Eventually, it was way more than that. I felt myself betraying my morals in the process, but was subdued by my desire for, revenge. And the next morning, the guilt hit me like a ton of bricks. And not only had I betrayed my sister's trust in the absolute worst way possible, but I also disappeared and got to her level of evil. However, deep down, I also believed that she had it coming, giving her years of trying to sabotage every good thing happening. Although I'm aware that what I did is messed up, I can't shake the feeling of betrayal and anger. So here's the worst part. Despite the chaos, I don't feel any better. My revenge had backfired spectacularly. I achieved nothing but a messy situation and will most probably alienate everybody around me when they find out. Now I'm facing the consequences of my actions, and I don't know how to fix it. I know that I have to come clean, but I don't really know how to. So am I really the a-hole here for sleeping with my sister's boyfriend, given what she had done to me all these years? And if I am, how do I even begin to pick up the pieces of this mess? Update number 3. Upon advice from you guys, I have finally talked to Sarah. The whole thing went well, I guess as well as you can go. It went hellish. I went over to our house without calling or letting Sarah know beforehand, and I simply went to go ahead and pick a time when I knew Mom and Dad would not be home. I realized Sarah did not know anything yet. She was acting like her usual cheerful self, asking me for coffee, even acting like she had not just caused me to lose my job. Feeling irritated and straight up infuriated, I announced it in front of her. I slept with your boyfriend. I admit at the moment saying it out loud in front of Sarah might not have felt as good as I thought it would, but it was surely satisfying to see her face afterward. Her mouth had just dropped open, and tears started to stream down her eyes, and she just looked at me and said, "You did not." I certainly did, and it's only fair. Maybe you should have tried not to sabotage my career to begin with. You knew it was everything to me, and now this is what you deserve, and I hope that you're happy with consequences of your own actions. I said, and went into my room, leaving her on her own. I don't know, saying it to her face in the same way she acted in front of me days ago made me feel utterly satisfied. Maybe the revenge was worth it, after all. However, as soon as my parents returned home, Sarah, being the epic manipulator that she is, told them what I did while deliberately hiding the wrong end of her part. She sugarcoated what she did, saying some words accidentally slipped out of her mouth, which she said jokingly while drunk, and everything was just straight up taken out of context by me. Jealous of my coworkers as well, who schemed against me and got me fired. Ugh! As soon as that, all hell broke loose, and my parents were absolutely furious at me. They could not believe that I, out of everybody, did something like that. In a corner, Sarah began crying while Mom and Dad continued to straight up bombard me with insults and swear words for doing this to their precious little daughter. It isn't entirely my fault, I said. She's been doing it for years, so why don't you see it? But nothing I said worked against Sarah's words. My parents got more angry than ever. You come back here when you're ready to apologize, or don't come back at all, Dad said to me while hugging Sarah, leaving me all alone as if I was the villain of the story. I knew I had no chance of winning this one, guys, and I don't know, at that point, all my confidence was out the window. I could no longer speak and realized there was nothing that I could do anymore. And more specifically, I would rather sleep on the streets, but somewhere I'm not even given a chance to speak. Because of Sarah, my family is absolutely shattered. My job is gone, and my reputation is not the same. So, I feel like I'm living in some kind of nightmare, and no matter how hard I try, I just can't seem to wake up. So, I make a decision. I'll pack up my stuff, get the F away from here, and leave my family house for good. I'll move to a whole new city for a fresh start. But before I go, I'll do one last thing to teach Sarah a lesson. This time, I'm cutting off all her allowance. From now on, she won't get a single penny from me. Let's see how she affords her expensive taste and shopping spree with no big sis's money to splurge on. Update number 4. So, as per my updates, I finally moved to a new city and started fresh. At first, I had a pretty rocky start, finding a house with the lowest rent possible, but still livable was a headache on its own. But the struggle, oh boy, was landing a job. I had to come up with a believable lie about why I left my previous job and did everything I could to appear my best self, despite being completely heartbroken. Most interviews ended with a polite, "Well, we'll keep you in mind," which basically translates to "you're not being hired." My savings were dilating faster than I'd like to admit, and the ramen diet was starting to lose its appeal. However, after 2 months of constant struggle, I finally landed a job at a local company with decent pay. Things were slowly getting back on track again, and I finally had hopes for the future. But that was not the only unexpected thing that happened to me. Last night, I received a text message from Sarah. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to talk to her at first, but after some thought, I decided to give her a call, hoping for closure that I never got. She picked up at once and admitted to always feeling inferior to me and even apologized for everything that she's done, especially the office party thing, which she had done in the heat of the moment. without even thinking about the consequences. When she was telling me of all this, I felt hopeful for a moment that maybe things could go back to the way they were. But as soon as she apologized, her next sentence was, well, she really needed money and wanted me to continue sending her monthly allowances again. Here's another thing that took me back. Turns out it wasn't just me with whom Alex had cheated on Sarah with. In fact, he was a habitual cheater and cheated on Sarah not once, not twice, but during their entire relationship. So, finding out, it broke Sarah into a million pieces, but also made her realize what she had done. The moment Sarah told me this, I was seething with anger, which is ironic since I was the one of those with whom Alex had cheated on Sarah with. Sarah told me how she slapped Alex in front of his friends when they were out on a trip with him. I'm sure his face must have turned red with embarrassment, and he deserved it. Honestly, and as for Sarah, I guess sometimes a person needs to hit rock bottom before they start to really see themselves. However, I'm not sure if I'm ready to forgive Sarah for what she's done, especially when she keeps emphasizing that I should continue with her pocket money. It's just like she just wants me for the money, not because she's actually sorry for her actions or regrets doing any of it. So I guess my question to everybody listening right now is, should I forgive Sarah? What do you guys think? Update number 5. I want to thank you guys, and yes, this is my final update. All of you have helped me, and it's genuine advice you're giving. I love it. Well, some of you wanted me to reconcile with Sarah and give her another chance. I could not shake the feeling of fear that she might do this to me again. I've adjusted well to my new surroundings. You see, I'm very happy with my job and have even started seeing somebody. Everything's going well, and as for the matter back home, I'm back in contact with my parents, but not Sarah. Despite her constant calls and text messages asking me to return home and continue sending the allowance, I've decided not to trust her again. I told her if she really wants money, then she should find a job and work for it, instead of mooching off others. For a change, it's about time she admitted her actions in front of everyone. That was the last time we ever talked. She has not contacted me ever since. However, I still hope that in the future, when time's finally passed and the wounds have healed, Sarah and I can find a way to build up our relationship. It would not be the same, not after everything, but perhaps we could find a new sort of closeness. One built on nothing more than honesty, respect, and genuine love. But for now, guys, I'm focused on moving forward and creating a future for myself. I've learned never to trust anybody completely and to always be watchful of people who say that they'll never hurt you. Alright guys, so today's story, it had a lot of opinions with it. Some of the commenters were saying 2 wrongs do not make a right, while other commenters were saying, well, you know what, it's an eye for an eye. OP's sister tried to get her promotion demoted, and OP gets revenge by sleeping with her significant other. So that is considered an eye for an eye, but is it right? That's the question of the story. Do you think what OP did was justified? Guys, I would love to hear your thoughts about today's story. If you want to drop it down below in the comment section, I would love to answer your questions and just read what you have to say. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every day. If you guys want to be a part of these stories, consider subscribing. Thank you for that. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.